what happens when dad dies and you're black and there's no plan? I just shot a video about this, but I was going to so many tangents because there's so many different directions, and I didn't want to make like a 20-minute long video. So I'm going to talk about basically what happens when dad dies and the property that he lives in. I'm going to try to keep it right there in that pocket to make a point. So if you're like in your 30s and your dad's dealing with health issues and you're black and he's dealing with obesity, heart problems, your dad's engine light is on. That means get ready. And the thing is that you would never think anything like this would happen. Of course, your father would probably use his language to make you feel good. I'm gonna be all right. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna pull through. God's gonna bless me. That whole thing where it's that talk. That kind of, I think fathers, I think all people, but I think in my case, my dad and my friend's dad, which inspired me to do this video, knows the language to use to get you off their back. Knows the language to use to speak in a way that doesn't make them uncomfortable and face the issues that they have to face as an old person. And so it really makes me reflect on the things that I need to face in my age, and some things I need to be accountable for and to adjust and to change. But I'm going to stick with the house and property. And maybe I'll talk about those other psychological things with black fathers that can help. It's cool to have a present black father, but just because you have a present black father doesn't necessarily mean that they have the tools to position themselves in the best advantage possible. So when dad dies, the ownership of the house, or the executorship, the one who controls everything with the finance stuff like that, goes to the wife. Okay, now the wife could then take on that financial liability. And here's the thing with my situation, the mortgage was like a few months late already. They were getting close to getting defaulted on the mortgage. Okay, they lived in the house for 40 years and there's still like $20,000 of principal left on it. I don't know if that came from interest. I don't know, because it was difficult for me to get a copy of the actual mortgage contract. That wasn't put in my hand, and honestly I didn't know anything about mortgages and stuff like that. I just do that. You get one, and dad had one, and that's it, and that's theirs. So the problem was with our family is that my mom was over it and didn't really care about keeping the house. And I don't want to say that like she doesn't care. It's just that she's willing to let it go. She doesn't have the money to do the upkeep, because a lot of part of the house was in disrepair, and to make mortgage payments on the house and pay for repairs. Who was going to do that? I personally wasn't going to do that and get into business with my mom's daughter, because my mom's daughter has a very bad track record of dealing with finances. So no, I wasn't going to go into business and take over this mortgage and house with her, with someone who doesn't listen to me, someone who doesn't respect me, someone who doesn't check for me. The sad thing is that when my dad died, I thought that me and my mom's daughter would get closer together, but instead we grew further apart. And now she's someone I don't talk to anymore. And the crazier thing is that I'm actually a happier person because I don't deal with her at all. I blocked the number. And it's just, I'd rather choose the desert over a quarrelsome woman. Give me the desert. But that's for another video. So, the house is a thing. And so now my mom and her daughter needs to get together to transfer ownership. Since you want the house so bad, I told my mom, give her what she asked for. You want the liability of the house? Give her what she asked for. You want to pay off the mortgage? Give her what she asked for. But that never happened. And when I held her accountable as to, because see, she had no problem holding me accountable for doing other things, finding her a place, things like that. See, it's just, there's so many levels to this. That's why it's so important to have a plan in place, a will or something that says we're going to do this. When I die, we're doing this, this, and this. So there's no emotionalism, there's no guilt tripping, there's no argument. If you're not following what this person's wishes are, you're the problem. But because there's no written will, there's no written documentation, nothing was in black and white, anything goes. Anything goes. Guilt tripping, you're letting the house go to hell. Give me money to pay up this mortgage, catch it up, and I'll get it in a year. Yeah, right. Bullshit. You can't even afford to keep payments on your own car that you financed. And I know you're paying a high-ass interest rate for it because I know your credit's jacked up. And you're telling me you can afford to take responsibility for a whole house you have no interest in? This is how far it goes. But I'm going to go back to the house, mortgage, ownership. So in order to transfer the executorship to the children, you can do that. But here's the thing. Just because you transfer executorship by contract to a child doesn't mean that the principal of the loan goes away. And I'm willing to speculate that even if you do that, the mortgage company has a way to change their payment rates and interest rates if you do that. I bet you they are able to check your credit score to see if that's in the best interest of the mortgage company. Because they want to see, can you afford this? Yeah, I'm sorry that your father died, but can you afford this? What's your credit track record look like? What's on your credit report and what's not on your credit report? So, fast forward to recently, the house is getting ready to go on auction. It's already in default, the foreclosures, but there's still things in place, which I think is great. There are still lots of things in place, even after everything goes loose and the house goes auction, that to still get your house back like 6-12 months after the foreclosure, after the loan defaults. You still got time and tools there to help you get the house back should something bad happen to you, which is great. However, time was running out. The mortgage is gone. It's foreclosed on. It's going on auction. And there are real estate companies that will come in and help you to sell the house. And they'll take a percentage of the sale. I get that. They want a percentage of the sale. And so we've been into business with a company to do that. Now, the interesting thing is that I have an email that I sent my mom saying to do a short sale. But because her daughter was so in her face about making sure that the house doesn't go to hell, that didn't happen. Long story short, if you're 30 or whatever age you are, if you're African American, and you got a parent that's dealing with heart issues, diabetes, pacemakers, your parent's engine light is on. And if you don't have a plan in place, you're in trouble. If you don't have documentation and instructions in place that are in black and white that cannot be argued with and manipulated by emotions and guilt, you're in trouble. You're having heart attack, if your engine light is on. So with that, just be advised that if you don't have a plan and you're dealing with the type of father that won't take what you're bringing to the table seriously, then you're in trouble. And I hope that you have an opportunity to work that out. Because if you don't, it's going to be a big mess left on your hands. And that goes for me too. When I have kids and a family, and and I get of age and stuff, I will have to rise up and make sure that I'm doing better and healthier, more healthier than I've ever done in my whole life, so that I have a plan in place to do the right thing. So if you want to avoid a lot of family drama over material possessions, have a plan in place. you know, this. I'm gonna pull through. And I thought my dad was gonna pull through that last time he had an health issue. I thought, oh yeah, he's gonna pull through, because he always spoke that way. And of course, no one wanted to believe the worst could happen, and then the worst happened. And my mom told me, I remember that phone call was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, March 15, 2020, March 16th. I was just going to a show that Sunday night, wondering why can't I taste my food, because COVID just came out. Now we have a death during a pandemic. Nobody knows how to handle it. It felt like it was one of the most rushed funerals ever. But I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. I don't even know what even point I made on this, but hopefully this helps somebody. I'm out. I'm gonna get focusing on work. I'll see y'all later.